up here again, where I get to plant Amaryllis bulbs. I absolutely love these flowers. They are perfect for Christmas, they are indoor flowering, really showy, they also make for a great gift. And really, it couldn't be Christmas without them. At the end of October, very beginning of November, it's time to plant them for blooms for Christmas. Amaryllis bulbs take 6 to 12 weeks to bloom, so you gotta get a head start. And chances are the one that I'm planting now at the beginning of November will actually bloom after Christmas. I don't really mind that because, January to March is still a beautiful time to have those gorgeous flowers indoors, but that's always something to be mindful of. I love trying new varieties every year, so I picked up a few new things. I really loved this beautiful deep velvet color. This one is called Queen of Night and it has the most beautiful deep red velvet color. Perfect for Christmas. I loved it so much. I bought 3 balls because I thought this is going to give us a really beautiful show. Also wanted to try out this Amaryllis called Minerva. I thought the contrast between the lighter red and the white was also very Christmassy and really interesting. So I can't wait to try out this either. Also, thank you Suttons for sending out this beautiful Amaryllis. This is a variety called Lemon Star and I'm really excited because I've never tried it before. It has the most beautiful lime green petals. I think it's going to be absolutely striking. Like for any other flowering bulbs, the diameter of the bulb gives you an idea of how big a bloom show you can expect. Some Amaryllis can be multi-stemmed essentially, so one bloom stalk and then another, and that is more likely to happen if you pick a bigger size bulb. Those are 26 to 28 centimeters. This is a really good size and we should have a really beautiful show. Okay, let's plant them up now. All we need is a beautiful container, ideally with a drainage hole, and some compost. Okay, I have several options with me. Some single pots in terracotta, that's very classic. I also have this really cool double metal container here that I might use, although it doesn't have a drainage hole. And I also have this rusty container. I really love the look of it as well. The choice of pot is important because Amaryllis like to be root bound. That means you have to pick a container that's barely bigger than the diameter of your bulb, ideally just 2 fingers. That means that the roots are just going to be really well snuggled in. Otherwise, it might just not perform as well and not also grow as well. Okay, let's unbox the Amaryllis. I want to show you what's inside if you are considering this as a gift. Oh wow! This was actually already growing. Oh no! And it looks like I might have damaged the bud. Oh wow! So you can see, well, it's all white because it didn't have any light, but that's going to green up fine. This is a flower bud. This is another one right here, and those are leaves. You can distinguish them because the leaves are, of course, thinner. Definitely going to throw double blooms. So I'm going to be extra careful repotting it, but essentially all I'm going to do is lift it, possibly top up with soil, but I see there's already some pretty good soil here. Or actually, no, just plunk it in. No, that doesn't quite fit. So let's repot it quickly. Oh, the mess. This is what it looks like. And we don't have too strong of a root system yet, but just a couple of new roots that are a bit lighter. Those blooms are going to get really tall, 40 to 60 centimeters. So they're going to be extremely top heavy. So we still want to bury this well enough so that it's not going to topple over, but we want to avoid putting any moisture and any soil in the neck of the bulb. So here we're going to bury it about 2/3 up the bulb. There's a little offset there. I'm just going to remove that because that will take away energy from the bulb. Here we have our first 2 Amaryllis planted. This one is clearly going to flower first and we'll see how Lemon Star is doing. So you see that was super easy, just a bit of soil and then we're going to water in everything. Okay, now off to the Queen of Night bulbs. I think I want them all to be in the same container and hopefully they all bloom at the same time and we're going to have a really bold show. These are huge! Or are they all going to fit? Oh no, actually. Okay, change of plans. This is actually only wide enough for 2 bulbs, so I placed the 2 biggest ones, and I'm just going to use one of the other containers for the 3rd one. Just we'll put that in, same, look at that. Yeah, this is a perfect example of, you know, the right spacing. So about 2 fingers width, and this is just going to be perfectly happy in there. Then you can just dig a little hole and nestle it in. Done. So this is how it turned out. We just gotta wait for blooms. I ended up only having room for 2 bulbs in this container. I wanted to have all 3 to have a massive bloom show, but that's okay. I popped it into its own little terracotta pot. And then over here, I have this little duo. That's going to be really beautiful. I might be tempted to get more bulbs. I'm saying might, but I will definitely be tempted to get more bulbs. So if you want weeks of blooms also inside your home, the technique is always the same. You have to think succession planting. So if you're planting different varieties like me today, chances are they're not going to bloom at the same time, so you'll always have one of them blooming. But for example, if you were picking up several of the same variety, you might want to not plant them all at the same time. So here for the video, I'm going to plant them all at the same time, but you could wait, for example, 1 week or 2 weeks in between planting them so that you'll get blooms at different times and enjoy blooms for longer inside your home. That's completely your choice. Last year, I had this beautiful display where in one big terracotta pot, I had planted 4 different varieties, and that was amazing because they all bloomed successively and we always had something beautiful to enjoy. But I also really loved having 4 white Mont Blanc varieties all at the same time because that gave an absolutely spectacular show with multiple blooms and multiple stems all together. So right now I need to water everything in. So because we still don't have growth on most of those bulbs, I'm just going to give one initial watering and wait until there's growth to keep watering. Otherwise the bulbs will rot because the roots are not uptaking moisture. For this one though, that's already, already greening up, this one will get regular watering. I mentioned drainage, and that's important. So both those containers have drainage holes. This one doesn't, so I have to be extra careful. So if it's your first time planting Amaryllis or you're just not sure, it's a good idea not to top dress the soil so that you can check how dry it is. You don't want the soil to be wet, but you can keep it at a nice consistent moisture level. Normally, all the nutrition that they need is in the bulbs for the first year of flowering. But if you want to keep them for several years, it's a good idea to fertilize them either weekly or apply a slow release fertilizer at the time of planting. This is what I'm going to do. You've seen this before. This is a very standard all-purpose plant fertilizer. I use this for a lot of my plants. So that's totally up to you. If you like weekly feeding, do that. Otherwise, I'm just, sprinkling the top of the compost. So every time I'm going to water, the nutrients are going to be released, and that's also going to help the bulb recharge and grow for next year. Okay, it's a couple of days later and I wanted to show you that our Amaryllis now has the right color, and also it grew pretty quickly, and I ended up top dressing the soil with little bits and bobs that I found in the garden. I added some moss, some little sempervivums, also some bits of ivy and berries. I think it turned out really beautiful and perfect for Christmas. I foraged a few more things from the garden to finish off the other 2 containers. Let's do that. You can find these bulbs at grocery stores, at garden centers. You can order them online. There are a myriad of suppliers that sell them. Keep them in an area with bright sunlight. Remember to rotate them from time to time, otherwise the stalks might start leaning towards sunlight. As those bulbs grow, they're going to become really top heavy, so you might want to stake them. You can use branches or specialized amaryllis stakes for that. So, will you be planting amaryllis this year? Let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.